Shia LaBeouf ever act again?
Please, God, no.
Remembering tales from the crypt, back when Michael Bay wrote good scripts.
He wrote the
All right
scripts.
here is no mystery, 'cause it's the history of bad.
It's bad.
It's the history of bad.
So bad.
It's the history of bad ideas. It's the history of bad.
It's bad.
It's the history of bad.
So bad.
It's the history of bad ideas.
Podcast.
Blake, give me a plural noun.
Peeps.
Jeff, give me an adjective.
Ooh. I wasn't ready for adjective. I don't know why. Horny. I feel like Blake answering that.
Blake, I need an adjective.
It's just the peeps that threw you off, wasn't it? Adjective. You want to see? Hold on. Sugary.
Jeff, I need an adverb.
Merrily.
Blake, I need a noun.
Cereal.
Jeff, I need an adjective.
Attractive.
Blake, I need a silly word.
Scrumdiddlyumptious.
That's silly.
Jeff, I need a silly word.
Fusilli.
Fusilli,
Like
Jerry.
the pasta?
Like the pasta.
Blake, I need a place.
Since we're speaking of pasta, let's make it Venice.
Ooh.
Jeff, give me a number.
42.
Blake, give me a verb.
Verb. Podcasting.
Podcast.
Or to podcast. Podcasting. Podcasted.
Okay, podcasting.
Podcasting.
Jeff, give me a verb ending in ing.
Ooh.
I jumped the...
Trolling.
There you go.
Blake, give me a noun.
Mask.
Jeff, give me a part of the body.
Spleen.
Blake, give me an occupation, plural.
Ooh, occupation pro. Podiatrists.
Multiple podiatrists.
Jeff, give me an adjective.
Vomitous.
Vomitous. Blake, give me a verb ending in ing.
Verb ending in ing. Rolling.
All right, Jeff, give me a noun.
Tree.
All right, so we're doing a Dungeons and Dragons Mad Lib, and this is a spellcaster's study.
Ooh.
While some characters may fight battles using their technical peeps and brawn, others only need a horny thing called magic.
Horny magic.
Magic is a very sugary craft when used merrily, but it's not one cereal fits all. It requires many years of attractive practice to cast a spell by uttering Scrumdiddlyumptious Fusilli. That's why many spellcasters end up in Venice reading 42-page books for decades. So next time, be careful. You are podcasting a warlock by trolling your two-handed mask at his skinny spleen. While wizards and podiatrists are often physically weak, they can pack a vomitous punch.
Ooh.
After all, what's an axe when compared to fireballs rolling down from the tree?
Ooh.
Fireball.
Fireball. Fireball. Fireball. When in doubt, fireball.
Yep. That's the spell that saves everything. Mm-hmm. Or destroys everything.
That's good. Now, our Mad Libs last week was for Jacobo, right?
Yeah, and it was off the back of the Life cereal box.
Now, did he fill in our answers in the Life cereal box for his children to read, and did they enjoy it?
Let me pull up.
I hope he did not.
Text message. Glad I started listening on the way to the store, but I will for sure not be sharing your answers with my children. I told him I did the best that I could to steer it more PG.
But failed.
Yes.
This is an educational podcast as well. And people learn things from us.
You know what it isn't, though?
What?
A history podcast.
Well, what it is it's the History of Bad Ideas podcast.
Episode 547. I'm Jeff.
Blake.
And I'm Brian. Shockingly, again, last-minute youth sports games added to the schedule, so Jason is going to be late again.
If at all.
Yes.
Did he show up at the right field for competition?
I don't know.
We don't know.
In my 18 years of playing youth sports, I can honestly say at no point did they add a last-minute game same day for me. I don't know what these kids are doing these days.
These days, I don't even want to touch youth sports these days.
Well, if he didn't accept the tie, maybe they wouldn't have to replay to determine a winner this week.
That's very true. I know. That's just what Jason's excuse.
We're speculating.
Obviously.
I think the tie was his child who wasn't playing tonight, though.
But I wonder if there are any wayward bats or sticks that hit your fielders and while they're standing out there in the field.
You never know. Somebody's brother can throw a stick on the field. Or mother. Or grandmother.
True that. Very true.
You could be like me when I was a child playing youth sports and just not pay attention. I think once I was found climbing the trees instead of going into the game.
It sounds like it'd be more exciting at times. But all right. So, as Jason would say, what have you guys been watching this week? What are you going to talk about?
So I watched a lot this week.
Oh, you've done more than me.
All right. Well, I watched The Acolyte.
I haven't, but I've been enjoying reading the reviews.
I am
and
on.
getting chuckles out of them.
I heard if you're enjoying it, don't read the reviews. So I haven't read any reviews.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Although I will say the third episode, to me, didn't live up to the first two. So if you hated the first ones, I don't know. I know somebody said he loved the third one. I thought it fell flat, in my opinion. But that's just me.
Mm-hmm. Now, will you continue to watch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It hasn't turned me off watching it yet.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I also had fun watching, what was it? What's that Australian guy, the drunken, whatever, I forget, who does all the YouTube, episode TV movie reviews. The drunkard, whatever. I'll figure it out later.
I'm about to say, a guy doing TV movie reviews on the internet is, there's a lot of them.
He's Australian. He's like the drunkard critic. And he was, most of the time he's pretty funny and entertaining, but he's funny and pretty harsh on this one. So, but, yeah. Anything, what else?
Let's see, I watched The Boys.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I haven't been able to start that yet.
Okay.
You watch all 3 episodes?
I watched the first 3 episodes.
Same.
Did Amazon release 3 episodes all at once?
They did.
They did.
Oh, okay. So then they're doing the week by week after that?
I don't know if they're doing 3 a week or
I don't know.
drop 3 and then 1 after another.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't seen the release date. Like, it hasn't popped up, like, showing me when the next one's coming.
Because I know different shows have different modeling. Like some shows I watch, they do release 3 at a time every week, and some of them they drop some like a bunch at once and then one at a time. So it remains to be seen.
All right. Yeah, because they were talking about being able to view it with some kind of Amazon whatever feature or something, and Jim was talking about now he's got to go back and rewatch all the seasons.
Yep.
Are they talking about where you can pause the scene and get all the actors
You don't have to
in
pause
the-
the scene.
in the
You
scene?
can still watch the scene with the...
and then get all the information of what else they're in?
Yep.
And what they star in? Is that what they're talking about? Or what are they talking about? I didn't
That's what
read
they're
that.
talking about.
That was it?
That was it. Apparently, they're
I
giving
knew
you
about
more.
that.
Yeah, but apparently they're giving you more information if you turn that on. Because you
You
don't
have to turn it on?
You have to
Or
hit
is
a,
it like you can just go to like down like to the info of the episode and it'll just...
Yeah, you probably like arrow down and it'll bring up a little menu while it's playing.
Usually, I just hit arrow up
or
but
arrow up.
arrow up, and it pops it up. And
Yeah, I refuse to read that article because I'm not downloading Newsbreak's app. Not doing it. That's just one more thing for me to have to edit. I'm not doing... I can't...
what they call X-ray or something, whatever they call that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was, you can pause and get like all the things they've been in, all the actors in the scene, you know what shows they've been in, what year, and all that kind of fun stuff.
Don't have to pause it though.
I do because I need to stop and read because I can't multitask.
I think they changed it where you can split screen it,
Even worse,
where the action you go on, and then on the side you have a little column to read.
can't do it.
Well,
Unless
then
I'm focused all my attention on the screen.
you're gonna miss out
Action.
on all the fun stuff.
That's right. Critical Drinker. That's the YouTube reviewer.
Okay,
That I was thinking about the drunk. Well, he is a drunk Australian, so
I may have to look him up, but I have not come across him.
Without spoiling anything, Jeff, first impressions?
I think I'm getting bored of it. Like, they're really trying to
Yeah.
push the envelope, and it's like that was amusing the first couple seasons, and now it's just
So
okay.
I think I agree to the extent of where they are pulling way too many current event type of things and turning it into their storyline. Like it, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, I know what you mean. That isn't what I have the problem with, but yeah.
and I mean,
they're trying to make it pop culturally relative to current events.
Yes.
This season so far has been very, it's marring a lot of things that are happening in current day life politically. Like
Two
there's
sides that are diametrically opposed, and there's zero room in between them.
yeah,
Yeah.
which it's just weird, and it's just like I don't know. It doesn't make for a good superhero story.
And then maybe years later, it may not hold up pretty well. Like, for example, in Wayne's World, when they do the commercial endorsements for, like, you know, Doritos, Pepsi, and
But that was great.
Well, yeah, because you and I both get the references to the actual commercials at the time.
Well, there's no specific reference. They're not talking about they're just mirroring it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the storylines are very similar.
So, I mean, it's a fictional version of this group screaming this stuff at this group and this group screaming this stuff at that group.
Yeah. I mean, that's the reason why I watch shows, so I don't watch that in real life.
Well, you'll see it in The Boys then.
Great. Well, I'll still probably try it.
I did enjoy maybe episode 3 of the first 3. I think the third was my favorite. Has been my favorite.
I'd probably agree with that. Well, again, another thing is every time I see Butcher, I just want to turn it off. He is the least interesting character in the group, and I
Yeah,
if it was about just Billy Butcher, I would have stopped watching.
So the anti-heroes become pretty anti-watchable in
my
regards to his
opinion.
story.
yeah. It's very. I don't know. It's. I guess his storylines are in my opinion, they're not really, they're boring.
And it feels like, he's still the number one main character, and they're trying to make everything go through him for the most part, but
Without him, like, actually being, like, the lead.
yeah.
But everything still kind of runs through him. Essentially.
Except now everybody's branching out and doing their own shit every day.
Right.
Like, wait, I didn't tell you could leave. Fuck you.
That was hilarious. You guys gonna think about telling me when you're gonna go fuck off, or like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Double birds from him. That was funny.
Oh, so basically, Starlight and Huey are going off and doing their own thing, or
Starlight and Huey are doing their own thing. Kamiko and Frenchie are doing their own thing.
yeah. What about Mother's Milk?
He's the one trying to hold them all together.
Yeah.
Butcher's going off. Well,
Yeah.
I don't get too much of it. Butcher's going off and doing his own thing.
I'm trying to get his former wife's son, which is Homelanders,
Homelanders.
Uplanders,
Uplander.
One of the landers.
Up yours, Landers. No, yeah, Homelanders,
Yes.
DNA.
Yeah.
The VOT PR lady, she's still in it.
She's still in it. Yep.
Yep. She's still, sucking up and making, I will say with being that, like, trying to be that authoritative, like, it's my way or the highway, like, leader thing is kind of silly to me. But
Yeah.
I understand why he's doing it. But, like, just like when he was talking to Huey in the last episode about it, like, it just felt weird. Because they've never, like, had that kind of leadership to where it was like they were a group and they did things in the group. Mm-hmm. But now it's his way or the highway, apparently.
Yeah, because someone got the highway.
So,
Okay.
I do have to say, I do like Sage
yeah.
on this. Like, okay, bring in somebody smart who can. Granted, she's on the wrong side, but
Yeah, like her manipulation and like those kind of things that she does is a good twist on it. She's not just some, like, soup who has, like, this crazy, like, weird power.
Isn't the brain exploding lady? Is that her, or she's still the big evil person in the politics?
she's still an evil person in politics.
Okay.
She's running for vice president.
Yeah. Okay. So has she usurped Homelander as the big baddie, or just another one?
Just another one, I think. I think Homelander's still the big baddie.
Is he running for president?
No.
Okay.
No, he's on trial.
Yes, he is on trial for murder.
The airplane, the video that was leaked.
No, did they get that?
Not
I
they
don't think that
haven't
ever
said
got leaked.
anything.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
No,
in
the-
the first 3 episodes, they have
okay.
not talked about the airplane at all.
Okay. Yeah, the airplane incident.
This
Okay.
this was a separate murder
Ooh. Okay.
from the previous season.
Okay.
So, what else did you watch, Jeff?
Let's see. I watched, as Jason suggested last week, the 1%.
Oh, that's the Patton Oswalt show.
Yes, Patton Oswalt hosted, like, quiz show. It's meh.
The balls.
Nah, the balls I watched
Oh.
previous week, so,
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm confusing.
yeah. The balls, I said, I like the style of questions they have, but the shtick of big balls knocking people in water gets old very quickly.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? 1%. You watched the Last Stop at Yuma?
I have not watched that, but I
He
have
was talking
watched
about-
the first episode of House of the Dragon Season 2.
Yeah, I saw that last night.
I just realized when I saw the ad that was out that we didn't actually finish the first season. So have to maybe work that in.
Yeah, might be a good idea.
Yeah, last week I was watching some YouTube reactions to the first season because I'm like, I don't want to rewatch the whole first season, but probably something more than just a recap. So I watched, a couple people's reactions to the season, so I remembered everything that happened and still got entertained by other people's reactions.
Now it's been several years since I've actually read Fire and Blood, but as I was talking to, our Dr. Bednar, he was talking about this episode starts out with blood and cheese, two characters in the recapping of the history of this war between the Targaryens, and as the story as told by Mushroom, so if you're a person that read the book and you're watching this series, etc. But I know who wins. I just can't remember how and what happens. I know it's ultimately is.
Don't ruin anything.
I don't
don't
want to
know.
spoil anything. Okay, but I can't remember what happens in between. But he was reminding me, the blood and cheese and the assassination that was coming up, and they did manipulate the targeting and et cetera. But it still ended up the way it does in the Fire and Blood.
Okay,
the outcome. But I did see an interesting article talking about how Rhaenyra is recovering Lucerys's whatever remains of him, and the dragon. I was like, oh, the dragon after she wails and the dragon Arax or whatever Sarax, I forget what her dragon's name is, comes over and does a howl as well. I was like, oh, that's nice. He's feeling Rhaenyra's pain, and because the dragons are like connected to the riders, the Targaryen riders, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I read an article. I didn't know about this either. It could have been in Fire and Blood, but that was also the dragon's offspring as well.
Oh.
And so it was like two mothers lamenting the death of their children. I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. I think the title was, that sad scene's sadder than you think it is. And then they explained why. I'm like, oh. Huh.
Well, now I'm tearing up.
I know.
I feel bad for Mama Dragon.
I'm starting to choke up. I enjoyed that. It was pretty good. And he is like, with blood and cheese, I'm like, all right, these guys gonna, bumbling duo is gonna fuck it up or whatever, but
Oh, they fucked it up.
Yeah. But it was so that'll be the battle cry. Bring me Aemon Targaryen.
All right. That was the first episode.
Yep. Now I gotta wait next week.
No, wait till Sunday for the second episode.
Yep. True that.
So, it was a busy television week for me, and I actually watched a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else catch anything?
Obviously, The Boys. The latest episode of Mayor of Kingstown.
Saw a commercial for that and think, probably should start watching that show.
Third season?
Yep. Third season. It's still just as good as it's ever been, in my opinion. And then trying to finish Deadwood. Almost done.
Almost done. Your second run, third run?
This will be my third. It's as good as I remembered it and wish that there was more.
That's right.
Short of the movie.
Well, Deadwood is that completed how many years ago? Roughly. Was it about 10 years, you
10
think?
10 to 11.
10 to 11 years? I'll say if you miss it, give it a couple more years, and I'm sure somebody in Hollywood will try to reboot the series.
So it is...
Bring something back or redo it.
I sit corrected here. It is 18 years ago.
Holy moly.
18 years that it ended?
Yep.
Holy
and then
crap.
They waited. They did the movie, and it was... the movie was in 2019. So 13 years after it ended, they did the movie. And that was their response to everyone wanting more.
More.
So...
I did not realize it was that long ago. Man, I'm old.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. But if you think about it, that's on track for a reboot or a spinoff. So maybe you'll get more Deadwood here in the next couple of years.
Yeah. They should do it like a Deadwood like they do with like the Yellowstone. Like since Deadwood was in the 1800s, they should do like the 1900
or 20 years later.
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Let's see Deadwood today.
It's called Texas.
Oh.
True. Anything else?
No, that's pretty much it for me this week.
But thinking about, all right, so I had an interesting conversation. We were talking about the rebooting of Deadwood and et cetera. And I had a fun conversation. Why does Hollywood like to fuck with IP? I mean, if you really want fans and you want good ratings, why don't you give the people in the audiences what they want? Like, for example, I brought up Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, right? And he was talking about in his early production, he was like, do we stay true to Tolkien's original visions and we stick with that and we do what we can with it? Or do we start bringing in 20th century modernism and stuff and et cetera? And they said, we're going to do it in the spirit of actual, spirit of Tolkien's visions and et cetera. Now, granted, you can't, I know he, as Jason would say, he tried making it with 20 hours of film, but those are pretty damn thick books and et cetera, et cetera. But what I did enjoy about it was he mostly stuck to the IP, right? The intellectual property. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't put everything in there because it's just so immense, massive, immense, and et cetera. But I'll tell you what blew me away is when they go into Moria, that's exactly with the art that goes with the original books and how you actually pictured it in your head, the wide halls with the columns, et cetera, what a dwarven mind. And et cetera. Even the door, in the Speak Friend and Enter, sticking with that, that's already been established and good, even the Tower of Orthanc and et cetera, right? So you stick with the IP, you can't do everything, but you throw in 75% and people love it. And it made money. Everybody's like, fuck yeah, give me more, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then I was talking about, and so I'm going back and I'm rereading the Witcher book series, right? So I'm starting the third book in the series. And I remember we were talking about the reports about Henry Cavill, Cavill being a big fan of the Witcher series and wanting to play Geralt because of it, right? And how they're giving out these news reports about how Geralt is so problematic on set and et cetera. And the showrunner basically saying, and the writers, we've got these problems with Henry Cavill. And it turns out Henry Cavill eventually quits and stops and everything because as it goes with the TV series, with Netflix, the writers aren't even going with the original stories anymore. They're just making up their own shit. And the writers are like, well, yeah, we didn't like those original stories. We just made our own. And I'm like, well, no wonder. You got a big fan of Henry Cavill who's playing the main character. And he's like, that's not what happens in the series. That's not what happens in the series. And they label him, well, you're being problematic. And he's like, fuck this. I'm out. Eventually. I mean, I'm summarizing. There's probably a little more to it than that. And then, I'm almost to the point where you're stuck with Cavill as a Geralt. I'm not even sure if I want to try and give a series 4. I mean, I'll go back and watch series 1 and 2 now that I've been reading the books for a while and go back and see, how they did actual homage, I believe, in the series. And like in the first year and the second year, and then they started straying because, we just didn't like it and we wanted to do our own thing. Why fuck with IP? Same thing with Star Wars, right? Why fuck with IP? If you fuck with the IP, you better have a good story and you better have good acting and writing and dialogue that goes with it. For example, I liked Rogue One. You really didn't technically fuck with the IP. You brought in some new characters, everything stayed the same, and they wedged it in between the existing movies and etc. I'm like, cool. Andor, I liked it. It was different. It was adult kind of Star Wars. Great series. Again, my opinion. Good writing, sticks with it. They don't really fuck with anything. They just keep it going and moving. And Mandalorian, the first couple seasons, pretty darn good, right? when they bring in the Book of Boba Fett, fucking sucked. You know, you had some IP there. They started fucking around with it. The good episodes in Book of Boba Fett was when they had
The Mandalorian.
you know, right? You know, and so it's like, and it was like, you know, the Ben Kenobi. You know, you're trying to fuck with the IP again. I couldn't get past the first 2 episodes. I know I've talked about this before. Ahsoka, I watched it through the end, but mostly because I was invested in it and I didn't like it, and I didn't get it. I think, you know, if you watch the cartoon series, you liked it. If you're somebody like me who did, and you watch that and you're like, nah, I don't get it. You know, and then, you know, and I can go on. You know, of course, you know, the last 2 seasons, Game of Thrones. Well, they ran out of IP.
Yeah.
It hasn't been finished yet.
They ran out of IP, right? And then it sucks, you know, and everybody's like, fuck this ending, and why is there a Starbucks cup in it? But anyways, you know.
Okay, it was not a Starbucks cup. It was a different coffee company, and they're pissed off. Everyone keeps calling it Starbucks. They got their cup in the production.
They want
and people
their
still
credit.
Call it Starbucks.
Was it Caribou? Was it Caribou coffee?
It's an Irish.
Okay.
They're filming in Ireland.
But anyways, but
So it was Ireland Starbucks.
Yes.
Yeah, Irish Starbucks, right? But even when I was a kid with the Bakshi animated Lord of the Rings and etc., you know, they kind of did the Tolkien thing, but made it very cartoonish and, you know, etc. But it was okay. But you look at other book adaptations, and Hollywood just likes to fuck it. I mean, fuck it over. I'm like, stick with the IP, and you're going to make money because people are going to love it. But why do they fuck it? Why do they fuck the IP?
Well, I mean,
like Wheel of Time. All right, let's go on Wheel of Time.
Well, I can't tell a thing about Wheel of Time because I
never
didn't
read
read
the books.
or watch it. So.
I watched the first season because I'm like, okay, I started. I got to finish. I hate these 4 kids. The actors are horrible. They obviously blew their wad on acting on what's her name, the actress, and etc. Her. I talked to fans who've read all 20,000 page Wheel of Fans, and they're like, this is not Wheel of Time. This is horrible. It's not good. They don't like it. They changed everything up. And then I was reading a review. I was like, well, maybe I'll start season 2. Why not? And then I read a guy's like, look, you know, accept it for what it is. It's a Wheel of Time story. I don't call it Wheel of Time because it's not Wheel of Time. And they changed the dragon. You know, the whole thing about magic and men and women, the reason that, male magic being violent, etc., the dragon. And I guess they've changed it to a female dragon in this. And he's like, it completely goes against everything that, you know, Robert Jordan was talking about in regards to the male and female aspects of magic and etc. And I'm sitting there going, why? I watched Ring of Power for the first season, and it was visually spectacular, but Galadriel as a superhero, just really fucking weird. And the whole story is, somebody still needs to explain to me the copyright that they got, because they got the copyright to use the names and places and locations, but they couldn't replicate the stories. Yeah. And like the Tolkien,
I don't know how they did that or why they would pay that amount of money for that.
Exactly. And then why not try and, if you're going to pay that much money and say, hey, let's do a little bit more money, tell the real stories, and you got all these millions of Tolkien fans, wouldn't have a problem with the Rings of Power and things are out of order and etc. So why does Hollywood fuck IP?
You don't fuck with the IP, man.
A lot of it is the IP rights holders, like you said, the Tolkien family, not letting them do what they need to do.
That's part of it, but
part of it is people the translating it from from one form to another will change things on what can be done. Now
that's interesting, because you're talking about the Witcher and Andrzej, I forget his last name, Sapkowski. Mm-hmm. They were talking about the language. Somebody read it, was like, well, I thought it was pretty dry. I'm like, no, it's actually pretty easy read. It's actually pretty nice. And somebody's like, well, that's because of the language translation into English. And I'm like, I don't see that as a problem. I actually enjoy the stories. They're simple. They're easy. You know, they're like, what's his name? Fafhrd and Gray Mouser, right? He writes these short stories, get published, and then eventually somebody goes back and tries to like jumble them into an order. You know, it's basically how it works. You know, with but I enjoy it. You know, but yeah, you're right. You know, there's that language possibility, etc. But
I also think there's a part of it that is ego on like the studios or the people,
writers,
they're
screenwriters
on their end to where like yes, this was good, but we can make it better.
I mean,
I think
some things like The Hobbit.
Yeah,
They tried to stretch it out so long.
I
They
didn't like it. Yeah,
they wanted they had material for one movie that they turned into 3 movies, so they had to stretch it out because they wanted to chase the almighty dollar.
and that's where Peter Jackson did a good job the first time around, and then he's like, well, let me see what I can do with this and The Hobbit and the prequel. I'll do all this stuff, and you're 12 hours. of a short story, you're like, Jesus Christ, okay, whatever. But he failed in that regard. But at least they're coming, back. The Gollum gentleman, he's directing.
Andy Serkis.
Yeah, Andy Serkis they're doing the quest for Gollum. It's like, well, you're gonna have to squeeze that in with everything. I don't know how that's gonna work, but we'll see how it plays out. But as long as it's not another 12-hour 3-movie trilogy, because we already know what happens. But
They pretty much told us what happens in the intro to the second movie.
Yeah, true. Or okay, so you don't get the full IP, right? You get to use the likeness, names, and characters. I mean, at that point, what the fuck did you pay for the movie? And then you got producers, like you said, ego, producers, writers,
that much money involved.
That much money.
Think that they can do it better.
Yeah, well, I'll do this, and you change it, and then everybody shits all over it, right? More or less, especially if you don't do a good job storytelling.
Yeah, producers or writers with that ego, with studio money behind them, making them feel like they can do it better.
Yeah, well, when you get the people who end up being in charge of it not understanding the IP is going to be a problem.
That is a major problem as well. Yes, I completely understand that too. To them it's a business transaction, and they're not really fans of the actual art that they've acquired the rights to, other than they know it was a good business investment. Yeah,
it'd be a better business investment if you knew why people wanted to see the. I mean, it was like,
but there should be people advising them on this stuff.
I mean,
right?
you go, well, just the fucking G.I. Joe movies.
Yeah.
It's like G.I. Joe was a very simple concept of the 80s cartoons.
Yeah.
And whatever the fuck that Rise of Cobra movie was, had like little to do with what was there. The like I said, the Transformers movies. All the kids want to see is the 2 robots hit each other. I don't know what the shit this Shia
changing the
LaBeouf
cars
all
and
over
jets,
it.
changing the cars and jets, and move around. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just think that kind of stuff is just studios with too much money who think that they can bring something back and attach a big name to it, and it's going to be a cash cow.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we got all these cool robot car characters, and we're featuring Shia LaBeouf
And
Megan.
What's her
Megan
name?
Fox.
Megan Fox. Yeah.
And it's like the Autobots are taking second billing to these 2. It's like nobody cares about the humans in the Transformers world.
Yeah. It's all Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the name. Prime.
Amazon Prime.
Whoa.
All right.
We did have a social media poll of the week.
I hope this is the complete final total here.
I believe it is. At last I looked. The poll was, after Inside Out 2, what other Pixar film would you like to see a sequel of? Our choices were A Bug's Life, Coco, Onward, and Elemental.
This
let me get the
surprises
results.
the hell out of me if these are the final results.
These are the final results. Coming in tied for third place, Coco and Onward at 18%. And coming in second was A Bug's Life at 24%. And winning overall was Elemental at 40%.
So the people voting on our poll must have been the people that liked Elemental, because there weren't a whole lot of people that I saw as far as reviews and critics and fans really saying much good about Elemental.
I've not really heard anything good about it either.
Jason said he liked it, and that meant nothing to me.
Well, maybe he voted 34 times.
Oh,
Well,
that could be.
the majority of the 34 times. We did have some others listed in the comments of what they wanted to see.
Let's hear what other people wanted.
Others.
We had a Toy Story vote.
Well, we've had 3 of those already. I think he was going for ones that didn't have sequels.
We also had a vote for Cars.
We've had 2. Oh, these Doug. Is this Doug speaking up?
And then the last suggestion we had was for Planes.
That wasn't even a Pixar film, so... And I guess they were all Doug?
No, that was mostly me and Randall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not Scab Randall.
No, actual Randall.
The real Randall.
RJ Holt 666.
He's not evil.
He's just handled like my brother. So... We've eaten a lot of cereals.
Yes. Yes. Our taste test this week.
The studio has gotten quite desperate in its stock of snacks to where we actually finally broke open the bag of family-sized bag of Peep cereal, and the 3 of us are eating them dry. It's quite delightful.
It's very much a Lucky Charms-y tasting cereal.
Further
Fruit Loopy,
proof,
but not fruity.
Fruit Loops with Lucky Charms marshmallows.
Yeah.
But they're really not fruity, so...
Yeah.
The red ones are. I don't know.
I was about to say, they tasted very corny to me, but...
Yeah. It's just further proof that, we're not done with Jesus. So...
No, just
Blake,
had a red one. There's no fruit in that.
I do. I get a little bit of a different taste than the yellow and the blue. I don't know if maybe it's not fruit, but
Could be that yellow number 5.
maybe the red 40.
Could be the red 40.
I mean, that's a lot of red. So,
It's at least 40th
yeah,
thing of red.
40 reds. There's only one blue.
you only need blue once to get it right.
And there's 6 yellows,
Yeah.
which is weird because a lot of the things in there are yellow. But do we have some listener feedback?
Listener feedback. All right, brought to you by this week's
Hello, Jeff.
Hello, Jeff.
What's in the box, Jeff?
What's in the box?
Well, we're adding Peep cereal now. I mean, it might just be spread throughout the box.
Just sprinkle some in the box.
It's the packaging.
Yeah, a handful thrown in on top.
That's just extra.
Yeah.
That's what Hello Jeff does for its customers. Just a little extra. Just say thanks.
Yep. We're going with a pickle theme.
Oh,
So not only are you getting pickles, well, yeah, we got the Clausen pickle jelly beans.
Yeah.
Those aren't good.
no.
But you'll get a pickle in it.
No.
If you're lucky, you might get a good tasting pickle.
And if you're unlucky,
You'll get a bad tasting pickle,
You'll get a cucumber.
unpickled.
yeah, you'll get
But
a
we are sending things so you can pickle your own vegetables.
There we go.
So a little bit of vinegar and salt and sugar,
some pickling spices.
some dill, fresh dill.
We can't guarantee its freshness upon arrival, but it was fresh when we
put it in
when
the
we
box.
packaged. Yes.
There you go. All right, so we always start with that one guy,
The postman,
8 pans,
formerly known as
7
beaver hands,
Big D.
Chili Billy,
the jewel of the licking.
He always delivers thrice.
Dunkaroo Doug.
Somebody say Chili Billy.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Beaver teeth, beaver hands,
Beaver Tail.
beaver feet. He is not my dad right now.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
He is on family vacation, and he went to my favorite place in the world, Maine, and was in my favorite place, Bar Harbor, and Cadillac Mountain. And I was not invited to this family vacation. So we are currently not dad. His excuse is that if he would have invited me, the podcast would have suffered. I don't buy that. So it's just Doug.
Doug.
Says, what would be the perfect Father's Day?
Well, only one of us in this room is a father. So.
Perfect Father's Day would be my father was alive.
There you go.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In memoriam.
Yeah.
I want to know, on Father's Day, how is it I'm stuck grilling hamburgers and chicken for 20 people working on Father's Day? Whereas, whereas Mother's Day, Mother gets taken out to a nice restaurant and, gets mani-pedis, all that kind of stuff. What's up with that?
Because men like to grill.
I do like to grill.
So
That's
you're doing
true.
what you like.
I did, and I got a good tie and black work socks.
I thought you said orc socks.
Work socks. Well, if I got orc socks, I would have jazzed it up a little bit. There you go. Next year's, gift suggestion for Father's Day.
Orc socks.
Yeah.
Being invited to the family vacation by my dad.
Yeah. I did originally have a raunchy answer, but this is a family podcast now, so
So would your perfect Father's Day give you a mani-pedi? Because you sounded like you were jealous.
As a guy, you know what? Having somebody do your feet and fingers is really not a bad thing. It's actually pretty cool. And would I do it often? No.
Do you get
Was it given to me as a Father's Day gift? Sure.
Would you go with like the fish that eat at your feet?
Ooh, I've seen those.
Yeah.
I've seen those places inside the mall down at Opryland when we were down there passing through. That's weird. Just stick your feet in a pond. Just go swimming in a regular pond. You don't have to worry about it.
You might need the right type of fish, though.
Yeah, it's true. In South America, stay out of the piranhas.
Apparently there's a right type of fish to eat the skin off your feet.
There is.
Who knew?
I know.
Somebody did, obviously, because they're making money on it.
Pretty good. And, if it's like your wife, girlfriend, significant other, getting a mani or a pedi could be quite erotic.
Whoa.
Okay.
There you go.
So there you go, Doug.
There you go.
Hopefully that tells you.
That's right.
Our perfect Father's Day.
That's right. Or, as some men would say, just, never mind, it's the family podcast. All right. Speaking of eroticism, from Kali_dehumanization // at Kaylee Goth. It's pretty complicated. Don't try to type that out.
Okay.
I would love a Mad Max television series. Thoughts on what would you have the main plot be? Well, I think it has to circulate around getting more petrol.
It has to do something about getting something from point A to point B.
Yes.
And people getting in your way.
General,
And a
general.
guy with, a
dog.
guitar and super big loudspeakers on a crazy semi-truck get-up that plays while they're chasing you.
I don't think everybody needs that. But
It's been in a couple of Mad Max movies.
I don't think they all need it, though.
At least in season 1.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, at least in season 1, yeah.
I mean, that is IP. So,
Yeah.
Oh, good point. A good point.
Don't fuck with the IP.
yeah.
There'll have to be some explosions.
A lot of desert.
A lot of desert.
Yes.
I would like Max to have the dog. Or
Now-
a dog.
Would it have to be in Australia?
Well, I mean, that's where Max is.
Yeah.
So if you put him somewhere else, it's not Mad Max anymore, is it?
Mad Matt?
Oh.
U.S. version? What would the British version be?
Mac?
Mad Mac?
Mats.
You know what you could do? You can put it instead of in the desert, put it in the ocean, and you're on water.
It would just be Waterworld.
Exactly.
No, thank you. Fuck, that was awful.
Would they have to be delivering mail at some point in this future?
Is it going to be the postman?
Oh, damn. It's already been done.
Damn. So what I'm hearing is it needs Kevin Costner. A Mad Max
TV show with
needs Kevin Costner.
a younger Kevin Costner, because I don't know if this new Kevin Costner would fit Mad Max. He'd quit halfway through
Yeah.
to do something almost the same.
Yeah.
It's a two-part theatrical release.
And there would have to be some sport involved, whether it be golf or baseball.
Yeah. Or football drafts.
Or dancing with wild animals.
Or it could be just a modified Death Race 2000 kind of sport.
So what you're saying is your television show for Mad Max would be Death Race 2000.
If you're on a budget.
I'd watch that.
There you go. All right, from Pop Goes Culture. Pop Goes Culture at PGTC Podcast. If you could pick which decade to go back and live in and still maintain the same age as now, what would it be? Or what decade would it be? So I'm still old.
Yeah, you're still old.
Woo,
I
boy.
don't want to go back too far because at my age now, in a lot of that time, I would already be dead.
Yes, exactly. I mean, do I
would've-
have to go back? Can I go forward to a decade that hasn't happened yet?
And maintain your same age?
Yeah, can I go forward like 30, 40 years when medicine is so much better? And
Well, if it's
So you
not
would go
Mad
to,
Max
like-
world.
oh, yeah,
So you would go to 2050
possibly.
and be your age now.
Sure.
Okay?
I mean, if I have to go back, it would have to be sometime before 2016. So the 2000s.
If I stayed the same age, I'm not sure if I would enjoy it as much. But the '90s were pretty good. Think about it. The evil Soviet Empire collapses. The threat of nuclear war subsides. You got about 10 years of good music. No world, no threat of nuclear war. It's all good.
Well, I didn't have that in the 2000s either, and I had the Lord of the Rings films then.
True.
I think the cinema in the 2000s was better than the 90s.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I don't know.
Golden age of television starting around the 2000s. Mm-hmm. Couple of good things from the 90s, but I think it got real good in the 2000s.
Yeah. True. I don't know if I like this whole same age as I am now thing. It'd be a lot more entertaining if I could go back to the age I was at that time.
It definitely puts a wrinkle in the thought process.
It does.
Like, I wouldn't want to go to the 50s or 40s and be 40. Like,
Well, if you go to a period of war, make sure you're too old to be conscripted. That way you don't have to go fight.
Oh, I think I got that covered.
yeah.
Damn it, you're right. I'm going to the 40s.
Apparently that's coming back,
Oh, yeah.
allegedly. Down the hall, sorry.
Somebody needs to be in the Space Force. I mean, how else are we going to shoot people into space if we don't
True.
conscript them?
All right.
Yeah.
There we go. From Professor Number One and Doctor Number One, since Memorial Day is finished, is this the start of Brian's favorite season? Fireworks season. What is Brian's favorite type of firework?
Well, this is just plain fucking rude. That's
Well-
what this is.
It's from Dr. Number One, so
No, I know.
of course it's rude.
My favorite type of firework is the one that does the most bodily harm to the people, and they have to go to the hospital.
My favorites are the ones that don't make noise.
So my first answer, a second close second to that, would be the ones that are invisible and
So you like the,
noiseless.
not really a firework, but a 4th of July staple, the little snakes It just fizzle out and grow along cigar ash.
Yep. Because I can't hear those inside my house from 2 blocks over as
Sparklers are fun.
Yeah.
as my windows rattle and my dogs are hiding under the table because they're terrified.
Sparklers were always cool when you use like old film cameras where you can keep the shutter open under low light and you'd draw things with the sparkler and then it would come out on film.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
Yeah. Oh, you can do that on your iPhone, your smartphone nowadays.
You probably can,
extend
but-
exposure now. Or if not, you can just draw your own little
Yeah,
shit
or you
in
just
there.
draw something on. I mean, yeah, I know how to use Photoshop, so I guess I don't even need any of that anymore.
There you go.
I wish someone would fuck with the IP of fireworks.
Probably.
That's true. Let's make fireworks. Let's ruin the IP and make them silent.
Or like no matter what, it immediately like detonates in the hand. Like you don't have a fuse. It just like you light it and then it just blows up in your face.
Kind of like that one barge in San Diego 10 years back or so.
There we go.
Where they all went off at once.
Yeah.
Or yeah, the all at once. So nothing that makes the booming sound, but you would take the fireworks that don't explode in the sky, but kind of make that silent crackles. They really don't boom; they crackle.
No, I still
don't like
want,
that
I
either?
don't want those either.
See, honestly, the way it's going now, I don't mind the lights and things, and especially like if you choreograph them, those are cool. But I mean, nowadays they have drones do that, so just replace all fireworks with drones now.
As long as they don't have bombs that go boom, you'll be okay.
Yeah, not all
Or-
drones carry bombs. I
That
think
would
the
be a
majority of drones don't.
That would be a diabolical
You know-
terrorist
you know what?
act.
Yeah, you know what scares me about
Trademark.
that is all of the fucking dumbasses who you have to decipher if it's gunshots or fireworks.
Yeah.
They'll just be shooting the drones down.
Oh, that's true.
So, oh yeah, can't spy on me, big brother.
No, we're not spying. We're making a beautiful color light display in the sky.
But also, we're spying. Just with your every other device that you own.
Yeah, it's like that up in the sky isn't going to get as much information as you're giving everybody on your phone.
Or your TV, or
stop laying out in your Speedo in your backyard.
yeah, don't ever do that.
Yeah.
Oh, you ruined my summer already.
Just getting started.
All right. So that's listener feedback.
All right, Jeff, you have some news of the geek music for us?
Oh, let me see. I gotta change some buttons here. That wasn't the right button.
No, that's okay.
It's time for a new installment of the news of the geek.
Per BuzzFeed News, where too many people get their news from, when it comes to Father's Day, few men were as busy as Nick Cannon, who has welcomed a dozen children with 6 different women over the years. Cannon has 12 children, including 13-year-old twins Moroccan and Monroe, with his ex-wife Mariah Carey, 7-year-old Golden Sagan, 3-year-old Powerful Queen, 2-year-old Rise Messiah with Brittany Bell, 2-year-old twins Zion Mixolydian and Zillion Air.
They didn't talk about Mixelpix.
Zillionaire. Oh,
Zillionaire.
I thought the first one was Mixelpix.
And 19-month-old Beautiful Zeppelin with Abby De La Rosa. 23-month-old Legendary Love with Bree Ticey.
Yeah.
And 21-month-old Onyx Ice Cole with Lanisha Cole. And 18-month-old Halo Marie with Alyssa Scott. Speaking to people ahead of Father's Day this past weekend, Nick said that he is excited to use the day to bond with his children and give them the opportunity to connect with him, as well as give him presents. It's supposed to be a day where I get to rest, he told the publication, but I want to give all my kids the opportunity to connect and give me gifts and all that type of stuff. It's a fun day, and I appreciate all the love that I get on that day.
Note what he said as compared to me grilling out for lots of people.
Yeah, he's not doing that.
See?
And Nick's eyebrow-raising choice of words has caused a stir on social media. I don't believe that.
No, that never happens.
With the star being dragged for seemingly referring to a day with his children as some kind of a meet and greet. Reacting to the quote on X, one viral tweet that has been viewed 12.8 million times and racked up hundreds of thousands of likes and retweets simply jokes, he's doing a meet and greet for his own kids. A meet and greet with your own children is absolutely insane. Somebody else echoed.
Was he doing this through MS Teams? That way we can all log in.
I don't think you're allowed to have that many accounts on registered. You got to pay extra.
I mean, they all have to have iPhones to FaceTime in order to bring do a mega FaceTime
They're
with
just
people.
doing a Zoom call.
Or a Zoom call? Okay, isn't that great?
Another user wrote, a press day for your own children is wild. While one more pointed out, he said opportunity like it's a sweepstakes. Opportunity is a diabolical word to use in reference to allowing your kids to spend time with you.
One more, yeah, agreed. All right, so hypothetical question. At what certain point in time is this... all right, I understand having lots of children. I understand spawning lots of children. At what point in time does it actually become a form of child abuse?
Yeah.
I mean...
I guess if he is able to afford them.
One lady, two ladies, three ladies, you're now at 6. It's like, I understand him wanting to be there for the children, but are you really there? Seriously.
Are you there more financially than anything else?
Well, if you take care of him financially, I admit he's doing his child support stuff, but there is an emotional connection and relationship that you need to fulfill. And it's like, can you actually do that?
No.
One day a year.
One day a year. I guess,
the good news for him, though, is Mariah Carey is the mother of 2 of his children, so he probably doesn't have much to have to pay her, because I'm sure she made more money than he did.
Yes, I would have to imagine.
Okay.
So at least he's only really probably paying for 10 kids.
Yeah.
It's not... the meet and greet for your own children thing is why. I mean, that's so true, though, like the way that he said it. That's wild.
True that.
Next up, we've got per the dailymail.co.uk.
Ooh, the UK Daily Mail.
Do we have a soundbite of Jason's terrible British accent saying,
"Hello, governor"?
No, that was actually pretty good.
Oh, hello, governor.
There we go.
Some people just want to read the dailymail.co.uk.
Instead of that, you should go to nerdly.co.uk and listen to us.
Go to Nerdly.
An inspiring, this is the terrible way, an aspiring influencer reached out to a popular New York cookie brand in an effort to launch a collaboration ahead of her wedding, but instead was met with monumental takedown. Anna Montalegre.
Still better than Jason's attempt.
Yeah.
Jason. Anna Montaluger.
And Anna Montilla Green.
Anna Montreal.
Anna Montreal. There you go.
Anna Montaliegre, a recent college graduate and quote-unquote beginner influencer, emailed Half-C's cookie company about including some of the brand's cookies in her bridal party boxes. The business owner, David Maffey, directed Montreal to the brand's website where she might place an order. But the young bride-to-be was interested in pursuing a collaboration with the brand that would mean free cookies provided to her in her bridal party, presumably in exchange for coverage across their social media accounts. Unfortunately, Montreal did not appear to realize just how wrong of a tree she was barking up. Maffei responded to Montreal's email describing herself as an influencer who had collaborated with a few brands by telling her, "Sorry, you're not an influencer." In a video montage of the exchange posted to Halfsea's official Instagram page.
Maffei posted this.
Yes.
So he went public first.
Yes.
Yeah, apparently he's done it in the past.
He flamed.
That's good background information.
He flamed the bride by highlighting her followings online, which includes TikTok, where she boasts 904 followers.
She's a beginner influencer.
Yes, allegedly.
Until she takes her shirt off. Then she'll probably triple that number.
Standing up for
Unfortunately.
herself in what was a misguided effort, Montreal wrote back, I'm a beginner influencer, and I'm a
He
beginner."
responded.
He responded, I'm a beginner astronaut. Over the video exchange that he uploaded to Instagram, Maffei played the song For Free by DJ Khaled. If Montreal responded again after that, the audience was not privy to that exchange. Online spectators were able to absorb Maffei's methodical takedown of a wannabe influencer and the entitled nature of the pseudo-profession. Influencer is a wild label, began Dave's diatribe. Let me tell you how beginner influencers can get started from a brand's perspective. You buy the products from the brands that you like and you tag them. Then they will probably repost you. You'll pick up some followers and maybe other brands will see what you're doing, and you'll eventually have engaged following that's interested in the products you receive, but you just don't ask in the beginning for free stuff. He went on to write that some of the biggest influencers on the internet bought his cookies and advertised them before ever being sent a free sample. I'm a middle-aged man with maybe a dozen real friends and a private account, and I have more followers than her, he concluded.
I love that line.
Never in a million years would I think I'm an influencer or even ask for free stuff from a company I don't follow. Not everyone online was completely in sync with his brutal approach to combating young influencers. Plenty of spectators from the comment section reprimanded his behavior. Why did you post this just to embarrass her? As a brand account, no less, one account wrote. Another added, this is rude. She is, in fact, a micro-influencer. Yeah, that's very rude to beginner influencers.
Yeah.
Other accounts defended the brand's anti-influencer stance or were at very least amused by it. I don't know why this is in my algorithm, but I'm here for it. You really are an astronaut because you blasted her all the way to the moon. What steadfast followers of the Halfsea's Cookie Company account know that others may not is that Maffei has all but made a sport out of skewering wannabe social media stars and bachelorette party organizers who make the mistake of expecting something in return for quote-unquote exposure. Instead, Maffei appears to have reached the conclusion that fighting against the freebies trend is an effective marketing scheme as any, and far more effective than dishing out treats to all of next season's brides.
All right, so apparently, I don't know the background of this, and when I first started reading the story, I'm like, well, this guy's kind of a jerk. I mean, why do you go public with this stuff? And then, okay, you get to that last paragraph, and okay, there's some background. And as you commented, he's done this stuff before, and et cetera. But one, I don't blame anybody trying to reduce the cost of their wedding expenses because it's pretty damn expensive, hosting a wedding. But on the flip side, I'll give her cojones to trying to get something for free. But still, I mean, know your, expectations and, limit your, expected results and know that you're going to, especially if you're going for this guy who has these cookies, who's got a history of doing this shit, for all these people that want free shit all the time and getting roasted. Unless ultimately it's a way for her to get more followers.
So this is like
which
something
could be,
that...
Which it could be.
Could be.
This is kind of like a take on a lot of things that I've seen specifically on TikTok. There's a trend where a lot of these, younger couples will send out wedding invitations to all of the brands that they like, inviting them to their wedding, knowing that Like no one from
99% of the time.
they're not going to be showing up to your wedding.
Yeah.
But they're looking for something in return as you're getting married. Congratulations, and getting a sample box or product back.
Here's a box of Oreo cookies.
Like,
yeah, until we get Oreos, I will never feel for a wannabe influencer.
but it's a very real thing that a lot of, again, influencers are trying to do because, like, most of the videos are like them, like, sending out invites to my wedding as they're like flipping through, and they're inviting every major brand of or known
Apple, come to my wedding.
Yeah, like so it's a very real thing that they do to try to get.
Okay, so if you're a mega corporation, this basically just ends up in the trash can, right? But if you're a smaller, I guess, company, Halvesies Cookie Company. I've never seen Halvesies Cookie, especially out here in the Midwest. I could be wrong, or whatever. You're a guy that gets bombarded with this shit all the time, and you're like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna start fucking with everybody because
that's pretty much it.
You're taking up my time and etc. So now I'm gonna make fun." Okay.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I think I read something in the past that it was this guy, had problems with another influencer a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I can't swear it's the same guy, but New York Cookie Company sounds very familiar.
It pings a memory. Yeah, almost kind of like how this almost pinged a couple years ago. Didn't Disney hire like 6 influencers for creating content? There was an article about that, and I remember reading about it. I think we may have talked about it on the podcast, but I wonder if they ever produced anything worthwhile.
They made
yeah.
Maybe they're involved in the Star Wars
Out 2,
IP.
maybe.
Maybe there'll be an Elemental too.
It could be. We'll have to do a follow-up on that story, I think, because they hired these influencers for creating content, and I wonder if they actually produced anything.
I don't know.
I doubt it. Most influencers, quote-unquote influencers, I don't think are creative type enough to come up with something on their own.
I mean, honestly, it would probably be like them hiring them and like giving them free, passes or like, whatever, and having them film things inside the park.
If they're doing it for
Like,
advertising purposes, they're not coming up with something.
They're not like creating,
They're more of the ad department, not the
as
creatives.
that's like, kind of where marketing is shifting to the social media crowd. I could see that maybe, but I don't know. It's just weird. Like, I see those and I'm like, that's so, like, I would never do that. Like, I would never, wedding invitations aren't cheap. So even if I got a box of Oreos, like, that's $20,
and
$30.
Paid more than that for the wedding invitations.
I don't know. It's a weird thing, but it's a very real thing, and I've seen several people do it. And they're just trying to catch get a hashtag scene, somebody from that brand, their social media people catch on, and then it kind of spitballs from there. It's weird.
Cool. Interesting.
What do we have in the way of box office news?
It's time for Box Office Bombs.
Hey, for the weekend of June 14th through the, I'm guessing, 16th, not 21st, because that's an entire week, not a weekend, the top 5 coming in. At number 1, complete surprise, Inside Out 2 made $155 million in its opening weekend on a $200 million budget. It's been a long time since we've had a $155 million in one weekend from one movie. So I guess the summer's kicked off now. Hey!
Yeah. The blockbuster, summer blockbuster season is officially underway.
Here we go. Inside Out 2. Coming in at number 2. Bad Boys. Ride or Die made another $33 million, a total of $112 million, on a $100 million budget. So Will Smith's reputation isn't ruined, since the Oscar slap or anything?
Apparently not enough.
Because everybody loves Bad Boys.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do when they come for you?
Bad boys.
And at number 3, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which Jason still needs to see, made $5.2 million, a total of $158 million on a budget of $160 million. All right. Domestically got its budget back, so hopefully internationally it's raking in the money for them.
Yeah.
Number 4, the Garfield movie made another $5 million, a total of $78.5 million on a $60 million budget.
It's a hit.
Looks like we'll be getting another Garfield movie.
It's an animated.
It is animated.
Who's the...
Chris Pratt.
Okay.
Garfield, Mario.
Yeah.
Same voice. They sound like they look like they should sound the same. And coming in at number 5, The Watchers made $3.7 million, a total of $13.7 on a $30 million budget.
Did we talk about that?
I don't know. Did we? Jason might have, and I zoned out. That's a good chance.
I have no idea.
I don't think we did. We might have. It's the Dakota Fanning movie.
Oh, we did talk about that.
Yeah, we were talking about Dakota Fanning.
Yes. We were talking about Dakota Fanning.
That's weird.
I think you did bring up that it was coming out.
It was probably like from 2022. Just got released.
But I mean, it made $10 million before this weekend. So
yeah.
Hey.
What's coming up?
And Brian, do you have anything coming up this weekend?
I sure do.
All right, let's hear these.
Upcoming June 21st. Whatever films Jim and Brian find. Jim's still suspended, so he shouldn't be doing any kind of work. He's on work suspension.
Administrative leave.
He's living the tin cup life.
Correct. Let's see here. We do have a June 19th release. It's called Jesus. God's story is unstoppable when it's in the heart language of a group. God's story is unstoppable when it is in the heart language of a people group. Deaf Mission's Jesus film uses native signers, to bring the story of Jesus to life from a deaf perspective for a deaf audience.
I think I did see a ad for this.
The original title is Jesus, a Deaf Missions film.
And it's a big Juneteenth release, huh?
Yes. But for the weekend, the big release of the weekend is The Bike Riders. It's after a chance encounter, headstrong Kathy is drawn to Benny, a member of a Midwestern motorcycle club called the Vandals. As the club transforms into a dangerous underworld of violence, Benny must choose between Kathy and the loyalty of his club. Not most, but a good chunk of this was filmed in Cincinnati.
Yep.
I know Lockland and Butler County were somewhere in Butler County, and then Lockland were a couple of the filming locations.
Cool.
But this stars Austin Butler, Tom Hardy, Michael Shannon, Norman Reedus, Boyd Holbrook, Damon Harriman, Jodie Comer.
That's a lot of guys that sound like I wouldn't want to cross.
Yeah. Yeah. This actually looks really good. Well, let's see here. Next up, we have The Exorcism. A troubled actor begins to exhibit a disruptive behavior while shooting a horror film. His estranged daughter wonders if he's slipping back into his past addictions or if there's something more sinister at play.
He's actually being possessed by Satan.
This stars Russell Crowe, Sam Worthington, Adam Goldberg,
Oh, there's been a new Sam Worthington sighting.
David Hyde Pierce.
Ooh, David Hyde Pierce sighting.
Yeah. I think I'll skip that one.
Kind of like the cast.
Yeah. Let's see here. Next up, we have Thelma.
Without Louise.
Yeah, it's just Thelma. When 93-year-old Thelma Post gets duped by a phone scammer pretending to be her grandson, she sets out on a treacherous quest across the city to reclaim what was taken to her. All right, that sounds amazing.
That does sound great.
Yeah.
June Squibb, Parker Posey, Clark Gregg.
Ooh.
Yeah, that sounds really funny.
Clark
Actually.
Gregg going to be the scammer.
I don't know. Richard Roundtree also stars in it.
Ooh.
Fred Heckinger.
I don't know him.
I think that's her grandson, probably.
Probably.
Let's see here. We also have What Remains. This is a 2022 film just now getting released. A Scandinavian psychiatric hospital, an uneasy triumvirate of multiple murder mads. Therapist Anna and policeman Soren all have a vested interest in unearthing the truth, and a deepening codependency threatens to consume them all. Stellan Skarsgård, Gustav Skarsgård,
Ooh. I don't know Gustav.
Eva Magyar, Andrea Riseborough. Yeah. Never heard of this. It was written by Megan Everett Skarsgård.
Ah.
How many Skarsgårds are there?
There apparently is a lot.
No Bill, though.
Yeah, no Bill. Or Peter.
That's Sarsgaard.
Same thing.
Okay.
Let's see here. We also have a documentary coming out called Copa 71, told by the pioneering women who participated in the extraordinary story of the 1971 Women's Soccer World Cup,
Okay.
a tournament witnessed by record crowds that has been written out of sporting history until now.
Wonder why they wrote it out of sporting history.
I guess you'll have to watch the documentary to find out. Alex Morgan, Brandy Chastain are in it.
I don't think they were around in 71.
Yeah, probably not.
Probably don't play themselves.
Oh.
I mean, they are titled as themselves in the
I
documentary.
mean, it's a documentary. They're probably just talking
talk
to
about
them.
it.
Yeah.
I remember when I watched the 71 Cup. You're not old enough.
I mean, maybe they are.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
Yeah, probably not.
They're younger than me. They're not old enough.
Yeah. Well, Brandy Chastain, she was born in 68, so yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe she is old enough.
Alex Morgan definitely isn't. But
I'm actually surprised. I thought Brandy Chastain was a little younger.
let's see here. And lastly, in this wild slate of releases this week, we have another documentary, Jeff McFetridge, Drawing a Life.
Starts out with a cool word, but
It's spelled Geoff, though.
oh, well, never mind then.
The iconic work of artist Jeff McFetridge is everywhere. But this film is more than a primer on his career. It's about the choices we confront in trying to lead meaningful lives and how we use our most precious resource, time.
Oh, T-I-M-E, not T-H-Y-M-E, because that is a precious resource.
It is.
Yes. This stars Jeff McFetridge, Spike Jonze, Sophia Coppola,
I heard of her.
and then no one else that I've ever heard of. So, oh man. I just saw something coming out next week. I can't wait to talk about it.
Oh, but that'll be next week.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'll give everyone a hint. It's a little wibbly wobbly.
Oh, no.
So, all right. Is anyone excited about any of these movies besides me and Bike Riders?
I think just you and Bike Riders.
Cool. Yeah, I'm really excited about that.
I mean, I'm kind of interested in Thelma.
Yeah.
Not going to probably go out of my way to see it, but if, when it's on streaming or something,
Yeah,
Could be good.
fun to
Yeah.
watch.
That'll definitely be a fun one, I think. I love June Squibb.
I guess it's moving on to our top 5 list.
Top 5.
We really need to get like a dedicated top 5
We do.
song.
I mean, we asked Dr. Bednar to write one. We've asked Henno to write one. No one wants to write us a top 5 song.
Well, Henno's been writing one for the past
10 years.
7 years. Yeah.
Well, if anybody else out there is so inclined, we are shopping for a top 5 theme song.
And it doesn't even have to be good, to be honest. It just has to be better
it's
than me hitting the
Stock
noise button.
sound effect buttons. But our top 5 this week is our top 5 favorite 1980s villains. So, yeah, a little different than the sports villain movies, or we've done multiple villain top 5s recently. But
Now we're taking a decade. Villains from the 80s.
now I wouldn't want to go back to the 80s and be 40.
No.
So,
Although I'd probably be ready for retirement if I was in the 80s now, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
yeah. That would be the only upside, but
And I probably would have had a job all the way up until then that was actually paying me into a good retirement fund as opposed to the
had a
crap that-
decent pension plan.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Fixed pension.
Yeah.
That's right. Fixed benefits.
All right. Jeff, you want to start?
I can start.
Okay.
For me, my number 5 villain from the 80s, I picked Carr. That was Kit's evil twin brother in Knight Rider.
That's good. Yeah. I like that.
All he needed was a goatee to be perfect.
Now, that wasn't the truck.
Nope, it was another was it Trans Am
The
or
semi
whatever.
was another Trans Am. Oh, cool.
It was like an older prototype, I guess, that went bad. So they tried to destroy it, but he came back.
There you go.
Blake, you're number 5.
My number 5, I picked this with the possibility it may be on your list. I'm not sure if it's not. If
Whose list?
he is or not. Your list.
My list specifically?
Yes.
Trying to hurt your list.
Not trying to, honestly, because back in the day, if you're a law enforcement officer, you're really more, especially nowadays, you're very more identifying with combat veterans and et cetera. But not Sheriff William Teasel.
Yeah, not Bill Teasel from
Not
First
Bill
Blood.
Teasel from First Blood,
First
played by
Blood,
Brian
okay.
Dennehy. He saw that Vietnam vet and he's like, "Get the fuck out of here, dude! Don't fucking come in my town. Let me give you a ride."
Why are you pushing me?
Well, yeah, exactly. Whatever you do, don't turn around and walk back this way, there, buddy. We don't want your type in this town. Although nowadays people would be like, "Hey, man, here's a pie."
Yeah.
Well, nowadays people would film it and say, I ain't giving you ID. I don't need to show you ID. Why are you asking me?
Why are you filming me?
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Rambo is the
If he was just nice to him
Yeah.
and didn't arrest him, he wouldn't have ended up killing half the police force.
he just needed a shower and something to eat.
That's right.
That's all he wanted.
That was it.
Yeah.
He's
But
suffering from PTSD. I mean, don't do that to
Well,
the guy.
Rambo was the definition of fuck around and find out before that was ever a thing.
Yep.
So that actually was not on my list.
There you go.
On my regular list. I had it on. I have a couple of lists here. So I'll go with my number 5. I'm gonna go with Brad Wesley from Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
Yeah.
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 Roadhouse was in the 80s? Yeah, I guess it was.
Yeah, it was.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, now I don't remember. Did it hit the early 90s? But I'm
I'm gonna have to look that up now.
trying to remember. And
It was at the end. It was in 89.
89.
okay.
Yep. So it just made the cut. Mm-hmm. All right. My number 4. Let's see here. I'm gonna go with Principal Vernon
Oh.
from Breakfast Club.
Rich.
Yep. Mess with the bull. You
get the horns.
Was he the principal?
Well,
Well,
They didn't actually say what
I
he
always
was.
thought he was the principal.
that's what I thought too.
Like,
Then
I thought it was like a teacher or
I think officially, because I just saw a documentary on this. They never mentioned what his title was in the movie.
Yeah, and
but
he's
I think in the shooting script or whatever, he was like the dean of students.
Okay. Yeah.
Which
So I always just assumed him as the principal because he had access to all the documents.
there you go.
I think in my mind it was vice principal, but
Sure.
because I guess my experience is those are the people in charge of the discipline.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Or the teacher working on a Saturday to pick up some OT money.
Yeah.
Now he had an office, so most teachers I know didn't really have their own office.
Yeah.
Some kind of administrator.
Yeah,
Cool.
he's a swell guy. People like him.
That's right. All right.
Blake,
Is that
number
it?
4?
All right, number 4. Back when Schwarzenegger still allowed himself to play bad evil roles,
Schwarzenegger's a bad guy.
the T-800 in the original Terminator 1984. That was pretty badass. That was pretty scary,
Yeah, hell yeah.
you know,
He's
back in the day for a villain.
a good villain too.
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger, probably at
Yeah.
the top of his game.
And then when he started being famous and making lots of money, then he wouldn't accept roles where he was the bad guy.
And then
unless he was
the
the Terminator that
into
was
the good guy.
Exactly. Yeah. Fuck with the IP. There you go.
My number 4, I guess you could call this a Hobie, and these are two guys that go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
Boss Hogg and Roscoe P. Coltrane.
Yeah. But they're enjoyable villains.
Well, yeah, it's favorite.
Yeah, they're.
I mean, I don't
that's
want,
right. Hold on, favorite. You're right.
Yeah, it's not most evil.
That's right. It's your interpretation of favorite. Yeah, good job. Yeah, I like.
Although
that.
I should, there's probably some evil ones coming.
Yeah.
up,
Although
but-
Roscoe Pico train, Roscoe really wasn't that bad of a guy.
No, but I mean, he was a corrupt cop.
But he was a corrupt cop. Now, Boss Hogg, even though he was a bad, corrupt dude, he did have a soft side when exposed.
Soft side. You mean every side of his is soft?
Yeah.
Fat joke. Good old Sorrel Brook and James Best.
Yeah.
Oh, me again, huh? My number 3. Well, to go in a completely different direction on this, my number 3, I've got Leonid Brezhnev. Started the 1980s with attacking Afghanistan.
Soviet Union, that's right. Well, into the 80s. Yeah.
Into the 80s.
Yeah.
Well, you know, man, we started the 80s off with,
yeah.
and then
Correct.
You know,
The evil Soviet Empire.
I totally went just TV on this because that's what I thought. Like it said was like film or whatever villains, and this is just like any villain from the 80s.
Any villain. Yeah.
Yeah, I originally went movies, and then I was like, hey, I got to throw some TV in there. So I hope he did a little bit.
I legitimately read this all wrong. So all of my list is from movies in the 80s.
Or, yeah, any KGB, Soviet Union, USSR, you know, the hockey team, the 1980 Soviet hockey team. There you go.
But I just went with, looking at the different premieres of the USSR during the 80s.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess Brezhnev was probably the baddest of them all.
And he had the eyebrows to go with it, too.
Yes. I mean, a couple of guys who lasted a year or two, and then you get the Gorbachev who, you know, changed everything around and eventually led to the fall of the USSR.
Yeah.
So we'll starting in the 80s,
Yeah.
in 1980 with Brezhnev.
There you go.
That was my
So
number
your
3.
Okay, all right. My number 3. You know, they could have expanded upon this concept in the film series, because they do allude to a history between him and Indiana Jones. Because once again, something that was in the hands of Indy gets taken by Renee Belloc. So in the original Raiders of the Lost Ark, so there is some background and some history, and arch enemy kind of between Belloc and Indy that was prior to this
That
interlude.
would make a better story than any of the sequels.
I think
they told.
so. How come they never tapped that?
I don't know.
Because eventually, well, spoiler alert, he dies eventually in the movie. But yeah, I mean, he's a horrible dude too. He even got the tribe, and he's like, kill him. And then he's a horrible dude because then with what's her name?
Marion.
Marion. With Marion, he tries to do the old seduction kind of thing, take advantage of her when he can. He's a bad guy. And he's a collaborator with Nazis.
Yeah, I
so
know.
there you go.
Damn Nazis.
Yeah.
We almost made it.
We almost did.
Yeah.
One episode without talking about Nazis. All right, my number 3. I'm going to go with another Principal Rooney.
Oh, Ed Rooney.
Ed Rooney.
Honestly, Ed, with
And
your
in
back,
real-
you shouldn't be throwing anyone.
And in real life, apparently.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah.
Well, I don't think allegedly. I think it's been
Well, he's no longer here.
convicted, right?
He's no longer with us, so
Oh, yeah,
defend
so,
himself.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. I just love how dumb he is in that movie. And I love it when he steps in the dog shit.
What's the score? 2-2. Who's winning? The Bears.
All right. We'll go number 2. I'm going to Hobie this one. I'm going to go with Clubber Lang and Ivan Drago.
I can agree with half of that list.
Yeah.
They are my favorite villains to hate in the Rocky franchise.
Yep.
Yep.
What about number 2?
That was his number 2.
That was my number 2.
Oh. What was your number 3?
My number 3 was Principal Ed Rooney. From
Oh,
Ferris
yeah.
Bueller.
Rooney. Yeah, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking about something. Okay.
He was ignoring you.
No, I was like, all right. Well, somebody's got to fill the shoes of Jason. All right. So, no, my number 2, right? So, obviously, the big baddie of the 1980s was Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back. It was awesome. Good. But then this is when I realized I didn't have any TV stuff. And I went, well, it's on the cusp of the 80s. Now, it started in 1979, the series did. But Leader Deathlock of the Gamma Lines and Star Blazers. He was a good villain to hate. Deathlock. Hitler Nazi prototype.
Nazis again.
Space Nazi.
Space Nazis.
That's right.
Even
Space
worse.
Nazis.
That's why we need to
Yeah.
ramp up our Space Force.
Yeah. And then, Vader being a cool kick-ass villain until got soft. No, he's a good guy. Oh, jeez. And then, of course, you go to the prequels. He just misunderstood. I just wanted to keep Padme alive.
Spoilers.
Oh, my goodness.
You weren't going to watch anyway.
Yeah.
Now I don't have to.
Now you don't have to.
He was bad, and then he's good.
There you go.
That's all I need to know.
You never had an apprentice. Oh, yeah, they made one up.
Oh,
Doesn't
yeah, there we
fit
go.
in the stories, but yeah, it was this little girl, Ahsoka. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, then there's that little kid walking through the
Yeah.
desert. It's all good.
Exactly.
I got it.
See? Yeah.
My number 2, I picked Gargamel.
Gargamel.
Trying to capture and kill and actually turn the Smurfs into gold, I think was what his
Yeah.
end goal was.
It's pretty rude.
So evil that he created the first female Smurf, apparently.
Yeah.
And then it all went downhill from there.
Yep.
How do you break up a group of 50 dudes? I'll create a woman and throw her in there. Oh, shit.
And moving on to my number 1, I picked the Noid.
The Noid.
He tried to ruin your pizza.
Make it cold.
Yep.
It's so annoying.
We had to avoid the Noid.
Yeah, I had to avoid the Noid. Thank goodness Domino's came out with the octagonal pizza box to keep the hot air circulating
Oh, is that what it was?
in the box, then not getting lost in the four corners of the square shape.
I didn't even remember what it was. But
So I'm serious. You can look it up.
I believe you.
How do we keep the hot air out of the corners? We'll just cut the corners off. Why don't you make it two smaller corners out of one big corner? But it's awesome.
It is less air in there. Though.
Correct.
I mean,
it is a less
to this
circulation.
day, still use it.
Less circulation of air. I do remember actually watching some news thing about the damn thing. All right, my number one, I hope it did, of course. I originally went with 1989's Jack Nicholson's The Joker, which is really cool back in the day, even though it was still a little campy.
Wait till they get a load of me.
Wait till they get a load of me. Yeah, exactly. And
What
then
is that John Wayne saying it?
wait till they get a load of me. Hey,
Partner.
hey, partner. Save this painting.
It's actually Pilgrim.
I like it. It brings a certain sadness to my heart. Never mess with another man's rhubarb.
Okay.
And then I said, okay, what was another scary ass villain? I had to go to TV, and I was like, man, being a kid, and remember watching Diana from V, the original TV series, another space alien Nazi. I mean, even the space alien symbol looked like a swastika. How could we not pick that out? That they were lizard-eating species, human-eating lizards.
It was all part of the plan
It was.
to brainwash you.
That's right. It was all the propaganda, the
Yep.
V in it together, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
You know, she was badass and scary back in the day. So there you go.
Excellent.
All right. My number one, I'm going to go with Reverend Shaw Moore
Oh,
from
Footloose.
Footloose. John Lithgow.
I agree.
Got to cut loose, foot loose.
Yep. I absolutely hate it. I hate that guy.
I mean,
He's my obviously outside of,
yeah. And for a while there, I didn't want to watch any John Lithgow movies because he was such an evil person.
Yeah.
Mean.
And even at the end, he turned out to be not as bad as you thought because he went ahead and let them have their dance across the city line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not in his jurisdiction.
Not his jurisdiction, but he decided that, okay, well, I guess if they go somewhere else to dance, they can dance.
Yep.
I won't be evil to my daughter anymore.
After she beat the shit out of me. All right. Let me pull up some social medias here to see if we had any listener picks.
Listener suggestion.
Let's see here.
Villains.
All right.
Facebook?
I'm on Twitter, so.
I'll check Facebook.
The Twitters.
Right. Let's see here. We have.
Hey.
Sorry, there's something I'm not. Yep.
Let's see here. On Twitter, we had RJ Holt 666.
He's not evil.
He's just my brother handled that way. His top five, number 5, Carr from Knight Rider.
Well, way to go.
Number 4, The Terminator.
Hey.
Number 3, General Zod, Ursa, and Nan from Superman 2.
Kneel before Zod.
Number 2, The Decepticons from Transformer.
I thought of them.
Number 1, Cobra from G.I. Joe.
Matter of fact, my initial list was going to have Cobra and the Decepticons on it, but I thought more.
His honorable mentions are Darth Vader, Khan, Hans Gruber, and just Russians. Just Russians.
Just Russians.
Any Russian.
Hopefully not the dressing. Let's see
Russian
here.
dressing is tasty.
Yeah, it can be. From my not dad, Doug. Let's see here. Doug says the Predator, Hans Gruber, Damon Killian from The Running Man,
Only in a rerun.
Khan from Wrath of Khan,
Con.
Jason, while playing with a balloon, he knocked over and broke a typewriter. In parentheses, he says, explain what this is to your younger listeners. A typewriter is what we had before computers.
A keyboard with moving parts.
And paper.
A mechanical keyboard.
Oh, so sorry. I missed the last part of that. So his number one is Jason, while playing with a balloon, he knocked over and broke a typewriter that Doug was using, and Doug got blamed for it. So...
Well, Doug was using it at the time, so therefore...
Yeah, but his giant fucking hands were probably smash it anyway.
Smashing the keys.
No
That's why
way
they all
he could
got
type
stuck.
out any words on that thing. It's like, I don't know. I'm not buying it.
I mean, it would probably take 100 years before Doug was able to put out a good sentence.
Yeah, you know how much paper he wasted? And how much, like backing up and like... God,
I mean, just think of all the whiteout he had to go through.
Or you hit 6 keys at one time. All those little hammers get
jams.
stuck. All 6 hammers.
yeah.
That's the reason that the order of keys is so goofy. It's because people were typing too fast. That they wanted to make it harder to type and put letters, the most common used letters, far away from each other.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's right. We're using keyboard technology for modern computers that was developed in the 1800s.
Yep.
There we go. And then lastly on Twitter, we have from Jacobo, number 5, Skeletor. Number 4, the USSR. Number 3, Mr. Richard Vernon from Breakfast Club.
Yeah, there you go.
Number 2, Hans Gruber. And number 1, umpire Don Dinkinger from the 1985 World Series.
Oh, 85. Was that the Cardinals Royals?
It must be because he is a Cardinals fan.
Okay. I think there was a terrible, terrible call at first base that ruined the
Ruined
World Series.
the World Series.
Is that
That's
Twitter?
it.
On Facebook, we've got one, Steve from Everything I Learned from Movies.
I will actually be guesting on Everything I Learned from Movies later this month.
Nice. What are you going to be talking about?
We are talking about the film The Town.
Oh,
That was
isn't that supposed to be a good film?
yeah. So this was a pick your own film episode.
Gotcha.
So after multiple urgings of Steve to get a response from me and me forgetting to reply to him, he was like, give me a fucking movie, man. And I was watching it at the time.
Gotcha.
So I was like, let's just do this because it's awesome. I've seen it like 11 times, so should be a good one.
So hell, I'm surprised you're not doing the proposal. If that's the
Well, I didn't want to do that without Jim. Like him and I need to guest together for that.
Gotcha.
So what's Steve's list?
Steve had number 5, Darth Vader from The Empire Strikes Back.
Seems popular.
Number 4, Terry Silver from Karate Kid Part 3.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, the Alien Queen from Aliens. Number 2, the Terminator from The Terminator. And number 1, Clubber Lang from Rocky 3.
There we go.
He threw in some honorable mentions, Buddy Revell from 3 O'Clock High,
Ooh.
and Tony Montana from Scarface.
Yeah.
Possibly misunderstood villains.
Yeah. Let me see here. On my honorable mentions list, I had Iceman.
Oh, from Top Gun.
But he was just telling the truth.
Yeah.
But he was still the
He was
villain.
still
You know,
the bad
Maverick
guy.
was still dangerous.
He was?
Not
I'm
by
not
the
saying
book.
he wasn't. I'm just
His
saying
wingman killed.
Val played that character very villainous.
He did. Like, you hated him.
Like when he did the teeth chattering thing.
Oh,
like
I can't even do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Slider was bad.
Yeah.
But then he's Maverick's hero and protector later on
Well, yeah. Sometimes villains have a change of heart.
in the follow-up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Admiral Iceman.
Let's see. I did have Johnny Lawrence and Kreese as an honorable mention.
Gotcha.
And then lastly, I had Kiefer Sutherland's character from Stand By Me.
Oh, Ace. Yeah, he was a bad.
He was really bad, and he played that really well.
He did play him very well.
Yeah.
I did throw out as an honorable mention, I had Mumra the Ever Living from Thundercats.
That's a good one. All right.
Oh.
Bad idea of the week.
Always bringing up Nazis.
Yeah.
Can't get away from Nazi talk anymore.
Apparently not.
Uh-oh.
I mean, we are a history podcast.
So,
I've said it before.
Yeah, no,
Don't mess with the IP.
Number
Don't F with the
7,
IP.
Nazis.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we've already said that.
Have we put Nazis as a bad idea already? Just Nazis themselves?
Just all-encompassing
Yes.
Nazis and overall.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to go with being a beginner influencer.
Oh.
That's like...
Being an influencer at all to begin with, but the beginner ones are worse.
Yeah. That's like...
Expecting something as a beginner influencer.
I'd say that's probably like 212.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. This is amazing. I can't believe Jason actually did not make it back. Like, legitimately.
The last text we got, I'm like, he ain't going to be here.
Yeah, I did just see that. Also, Jason wants us to lock up when we leave, and there's no chance we're doing that. We're leaving the garage door open.
We're leaving
we're letting
every
the dogs
door
out.
open. And we'll let the dogs out.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, ooh.
It was
And
Blake.
we're raiding the liquor cabinet before we leave.
There is one of those?
I was about to say, I don't trust Jason's liquor cabinet.
No. Titles for the show?
Oh, I didn't write a single thing down.
Whoa.
Oh, no.
Whoa. Blake, what did you write down for a title of the show?
Don't F with the IP.
Okay. I wrote down, let's see, I got 5.
Yeah, you know me.
5.
I wrote down 5.
5.
Yep. Just the number
The number
5.
Oh.
No. Let's see. I did write down you don't fuck with the IP.
Right.
Scrumdiddlyumptious Fusilli.
Fusilli. Scrumdiddlyumptious Fusilli. Me piace.
Podcasting a warlock. Physically weak podiatrists. And etc.
So I like 3 of them were from the opening.
From the Mad Lib, yeah.
Mad Lib.
Yeah. Yep, they were. I don't think I wrote anything else down. I really didn't. Nope.
Or we can get what Jason says now with less Jason.
Now with less Jason.
There you go.
We did that last week.
Yeah.
We did
It was better.
we were better before Jason. I mean, I don't.
We're tired of making fun of Jason.
Well, and it's just too much Jason, and he's not been here.
He's not
enough.
here, so why put his name in
Yeah,
the title?
he hasn't shown up enough to be in 2 consecutive titles.
We need some more Jason.
That's a bad idea.
Yeah. So don't F with the IP.
Yeah. It's either that or
Scrumdiddlyumptious Fusilli.
if you can spell it. Okay. I would go with physically weak podiatrists. Personally, just my choice. But
Blake, you got a
I don't care.
come on.
beautiful.
It's all good.
It's all good.
If you want to take on the challenge of spelling Scrumdiddlyumptious,
I'm sure I could figure it out. S. Crumb. Scrumdiddlyumptious.
Yeah, but you have to use the Italian spelling.
Oh well, that ain't happening. I'm gonna get Scrumdiddlyumptious right and screw up Fusilli. All right. Well, that is the end of this episode, and Roger says goodbye.
Goodbye.
From Walking Dead to Talking Heads, from comic books to TV sets, there's a history. It's not so bad. There's the history. It's the history of bad, so bad. The history of bad, it's bad. History of bad ideas. Podcast.
You are listening to a Hobie.